Thank you and good afternoon. My name is Erin Gibson, and I would like to join the majority of concerned Calgarians in urging Council to reject blanket upzoning. As voiced by hundreds before me, I am in support of well-planned densification, but specifically against blanket upzoning. Calgarians are keen to know the why behind the important issues affecting them, including blanket rezoning. So instead of focusing on the points and suggestions that have already been so well laid out throughout previous panels, I would like to focus on a large proponent of why today. There is a simple phrase that carries the weight of countless failed societies on its back, yet still motivates many great men to make radical decisions today. And it's a phrase many of you will be familiar with or have heard before. That phrase is order out of chaos. You see, chaotic moments are welcome opportunities for the elites to gain power and control while weakening the masses and causing them to suffer. Let's take a look at the 3 simple steps that are taken to achieve the goal of creating order out of chaos. Step 1, manufacture or use a naturally occurring event to cause chaos and panic. Step 2, a solution surfaces, often introduced by the very same people who created the original issue, that also advances the agenda of the elites. Step 3, society changes without resistance. We have seen this exact formula being used in regard to blanket upzoning in Calgary, but also on a broader scale across Canada and across the West. Almost as if we're being targeted, but I digress. Let's break it down. Step 1, create a housing crisis, which causes chaos and panic. Step 2, the same people who had a hand in creating the housing crisis offer a solution, aka blanket rezoning, which just so happens to advance us towards Agenda 2030 and 15-minute cities, aka the agenda of the elites. Step 3, indoctrinate impressionable young people through the education system so they accept the idea without resistance and even support it. It's obvious the order out of chaos method is being used to gain more power and control, but I'd like to talk about number 3, society changing without resistance, a little bit more in depth. I don't mean to pick on the young people, but we need to discuss why they are so willing to accept radical change without resistance. I've been watching the hearings, and one university student said the quiet part out loud when he said the collective comes before the individual. However, I disagree. The collective is made up of individuals. Therefore, it's my opinion that if each individual is thriving, in turn, it creates a thriving collective. By switching the order, we are effectively creating chaos, not stability. I heard many of the young people who presented and were in support of blanket rezoning using a particular line over and over, almost to ad nauseum. Blanket upzoning isn't the silver bullet, but ... I found that interesting, as in many cases they don't know one another yet are regurgitating the same talking points. In some cases word for word, almost as if they've been coached. They have, but it goes deeper than that. It was Vladimir Lenin who said, "Give me just one generation of youth and I'll transform the whole world." It is not coincidence the youth are coming out of educational institutions espousing century-old ideologies that are not their own. This is careful, calculated planning within educational facilities to create a hive mentality where young people come out of university or college loyal to the state, even above their own individual rights. In many cases, even loyal to the state or the cause above their own families. I know many families that feel as though they were mourning the loss of their child because they changed so radically after attending a higher education facility. I bring this up because part of that indoctrination process is teaching young people that wanting private property is selfish. How many times have we heard that, specifically from college-aged and young adults throughout these hearings? Play the hearings back with that in mind, and you'll start to recognize the pattern if you don't see it already. Karl Marx said the theory of communism can be summed up in a single sentence: abolition of private property. Do you see the conditioning that is taking place here and how it leads to the acceptance of radical change without resistance? In other words, order out of chaos, which only leads to one place: totalitarianism. I believe that blanket upzoning is a stepping stone to universal housing, and I believe some councillors in this room don't think that's such a bad idea because they themselves espouse Marxist ideology. I also believe that's the reason they voted against taking this matter to a plebiscite. They want the power. They do not want that power or the decision in the hands of the people. The most dangerous words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." May I remind our councillors that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that the man who least desires power is the one who should wield it. With great power comes great responsibility, and whether you believe in him or not, there is a God that sees you, and he will hold you accountable for your actions, whether in this life or the next. Are you loyal to God or the state? Vote no to blanket upzoning, and always remember that good intentions often pave the way to communism. Communism was illegal at one time in Canada, and I think we are all beginning to see why. Thank you for your time.